Now with us here tonight, Idaho State Representative Barbara Ehart, one of the sponsors of the law that is at the heart of this case. Barbara, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate, I always love the opportunity to talk about this issue.
All right, so now, first of all, explain a little bit about why the bill in the first place. What was it that, when you brought this bill, what was it that concerned you? What did you want to see addressed?
Absolutely. You know, having been in college athletics for 15 years, it was around 2010 that I started to see that this could possibly happen. It was in 2018 when I was following what was happening with the Connecticut high school girls on the track team being, displaced by two biological males, where, two biological males were getting first and second place on that podium at a consistent basis, displacing the hard work of all of the gals. And I started posting about it. And I actually started this in 2018. Took 2 years to bring forward and get the language right and find the necessary language, but we did it. And what started out as something that no one quite understood has turned out to be, it's one of the things President Trump rode to victory, and it's now a 80-20 issue.
Yeah.
Did you foresee this going to the Supreme Court at some point?
From the very beginning, if we could go back to 2020, I said it multiple times, I probably had 300 interviews, and I said it would go to the Supreme Court, and now it's here. And to see Cox and the ACLU try to derail that is terribly disappointing. They fought hard for 5 years, wouldn't give an inch, and now that we can see potential success on the horizon, this is the best way to derail it, by claiming mootness and trying to withdraw the case. Fortunately, Judge Nye saw through that, so kind of you say a first hurdle at the federal district court, and now we press on and hopefully get that same sort of ruling from SCOTUS.
Okay, so you've been following this case obviously very, very closely, it sounds like that the legal backers of this feel like there's some really good ability that is going to get through the Supreme Court. What do you think about that, and how do you think it's going to proceed?
Without a doubt, if this gets to the Supreme Court, where it should be going, where it needs to go to be decided, 27 states have signed on to this. Again, it's an 80-20 issue. No one wants their daughters to have to compete against a biological male, whether it's in high school or at the collegiate level. And so I believe that as long as it goes forward, without a doubt, I see victory at the end, just like I saw victory 5 years ago when no one else did.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If what you believe would not happen does happen, what if the court strikes this down? What happens then? Where do you go?
Yeah, I think there'll be a huge outcry. At that point, it'll be interesting because West Virginia, Idaho and West Virginia is advancing together, as so oftentimes happens. You have opinions from various courts and a means to push it forward. So West Virginia's, I believe, would still go forward, so we'd still get a hearing. But West Virginia right now is focusing at the high school level. So I would still be there. I plan to be there, but I plan to be there as Idaho's version is being heard. And we've got, besides the states that have signed on, I think we have, over 40 amicus briefs that have been filed, and it's exciting to see the trend and to see the momentum. I even have an amicus brief that's filed in my name, and we have something like 206 female legislators, many of whom carried the legislation in the states, and states where I got to go testify and help advocate for the legislation and get it passed to this point.
All right, we will be keeping our eyes on it. We'll be keeping in touch with you, and thank you again so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Barbara. All right, let's check in with Michael.